every sign's strongest hours today, and the one stretch that suits routine work rather than fresh starts are coming in this reading. Welcome, and thank you for beginning your Tuesday here. These readings are cast from your Vedic Moon sign, the sidereal one. So if you usually go by your sun sign, the guidance may sound slightly off. Readings today are from your moon sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. Our Panchanga is anchored to New Delhi. The Tithi is Krishna Shashti, holding until 10:03 at night. A steady, consolidating flavor that favors finishing over founding. The Nakshatra is Revati until 9:54 at night, gentle and completing, good for kindness, closure, and safe travel. Rahu color runs from 3:48 in the afternoon to 5:29 in the evening. Treat that window as a good time for routine work, follow-ups, and tidying, and let fresh starts sit on either side of it. Aries, today, asks little of you outwardly and a great deal of you inwardly, and that inward turn is where the real gain sits. Yesterday, your mind was already asking for space rather than speed. So this quiet is not new to you. At work, the moon still moves through your 12th house, the place of rest, retreat and letting go, so you get more done by closing loops than by opening new ones. Mars, your ruler, sits in Gemini in your 3rd house of effort, communication and short moves, which favors a clear message, a tidy handover, a decision you were circling. Courage reaches you before caution does, Aries, and today that courage is best spent on honesty rather than speed. In relationships, keep replies simple and warm. People will read your calm correctly. For energy, treat the afternoon gently. Rahu Kala runs from 3:48 in the afternoon to 5:29 in the evening, a fine window for routine tasks rather than launches. The moon then moves into your 1st house at 9:54 at night, and here is the payoff promised. Your own momentum returns to you. Let the day land with one small kindness. Give your seat, your place in line, or your unhurried time to someone who needs it more. May something small go beautifully right for you today. Taurus, today favors quiet consolidation among the people who already believe in you. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 11th house of gains, friends, and wider networks, and that steadiness likely kept your mind easy and your company good. That same moon still travels there now. So work and money matters move best through your circle. A colleague's introduction, a group effort, a shared goal. Your period Lord Mars sits in Gemini in your 2nd house of earned resources and speech. So speak your numbers plainly rather than hinting at them. In relationships, Saturn in that same 11th house casts its full 3rd aspect, and Saturn asks for patience with friendships that mature slowly. You are ruled by Venus. Taurus, you build slowly and you build things that hold, which is exactly the temperament this asks of you. For energy, note that the moon moves into your 12th house of rest and retreat at 9:54 at night. Let the evening genuinely soften after that and keep the hour light. The day begins in company and ends in stillness, and both halves are yours. Before the quiet comes, sit with someone who has been struggling to learn something you find easy and show them patiently, expecting nothing back. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Gemini, your mind carries the day with unusual ease, and today rewards you for simply speaking what you already know. Yesterday, the moon opened your 10th house of career and public standing, so you likely felt watched, or at least noticed, in a way that asked for your best words. That moon still rides that 10th house now, which means visible work goes further than quiet work. Send the update, say the thing in the meeting. Mercury, your ruler, moves through your own first house in Gemini, and that curiosity of yours, that effortless way you connect with people, is the real instrument today. Mars sits there too as the day's period lord, adding heat to your speech, so aim it at problems rather than people. Gemini, relationships soften after the moon shifts into your 11th house of friendships and gains at 9:54 at night. Keep the evening for company, not for arguments. For your energy, note that Rahu Kala runs from 3:48 in the afternoon to 5:29 in the evening. A fine window to rest your voice and drink water. The day begins on stage and ends among friends. Somewhere in it, pass on something useful you no longer need to someone who does, and let that be the whole of it. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Cancer, today favors saying the thing you have been quietly carrying and saying it warmly. Yesterday, your inner sense of belief and learning felt lit up, with the Sun and an exalted Jupiter both moving through your own sign, and that steadiness has not left you. For work and money, Mars, the day's period lord, sits in Gemini in your 12th house of retreat and hidden costs. So this supports quiet, behind the scenes work rather than loud pushes. Clear one unfinished thing before evening. The moon travels through your 9th house of belief, learning and long journeys, then steps into your 10th house of work and public standing at 9:54 at night. So a decision about direction may feel clearer late. Cancer, you read a room before anyone in it says so, and that moon rule instinct is real information, not overthinking. In relationships today, trust the first thing you sense and respond gently to it. For energy, let the Tuesday pace stay even with food and rest at ordinary hours rather than skipped ones. The day began in learning and lands in standing, which is a good arc. So let today's small act of care be this. Give the encouraging word you have been meaning to give, unasked, expecting nothing back. Move through today at your own pace. It is the right one. Leo, your warmth is doing quiet work today, arriving in rooms before you have said a single word. Yesterday already had you sitting with the deeper end of things. Your 8th house of shared resources and change, and that weight may have felt slow. That same house still holds the moon this morning. So with money that is jointly held, contracts, or anything owed, favor careful reading over quick decisions and let anything heavy wait until evening. On the work side, Mars, your period lord, moves through Gemini in your 11th house of networks and gains, which supports you reaching out to a friend or colleague rather than solving it alone. In relationships, Leo, your natural glow is genuine, not performance, and it lands best today in listening. Energy runs lighter after the moon steps into your 9th house of meaning and perspective at 9:54 at night. Until then, Chandrashtama sits with you, which simply asks for rest, food on time, and fewer commitments than usual. The deep stretch you carried since yesterday does soften tonight, exactly as promised. As your act of care, do one small chore that nobody assigned to you. Quietly, without mentioning it, the unwashed cup, the bin nobody emptied, done and left unclaimed. May the day meet you kindly and leave you a little lighter. Virgo, today favors the quiet repair of a relationship you value, and you are well placed to lead it gently. Yesterday, the moon sat in your house of partnership and close alliances, so your mind likely rode easy, steady, and unhurried in company. At work, Mercury and Mars both move through your 10th house of career and public standing, and Mars, your period lord in Gemini, keeps your hands busy. Give the fiddly task your full attention early because precision is instinct for you and today rewards it. That same Mars casts its full fourth aspect onto your home life. So, evening plans deserve a little care too. In partnership, Virgo, Saturn sits retrograde in that seventh house and casts its full seventh aspect back onto you. A good window for patient, honest conversation rather than quick fixes. For energy, the moon shifts into your 8th house at 9:54 at night. So let the last hours be soft and unstructured. The day closes as steadily as it opened. If someone's work around you usually goes unnoticed, thank them plainly today, asking nothing back. And if you want to go deeper, your full birth chart is free on our website. Whatever today asks of you, you have met harder days than this. Libra, today rewards the quiet competence you already carry into ordinary work. Yesterday's steadiness with the moon in your 6th house of daily work, health and routine likely left you feeling capable and clear-headed, and that thread continues. The moon is still moving through that 6th house, so your practical tasks, your schedules and your small repairs are where your effort lands best. Clear one item you have been carrying rather than starting 3 new ones. Mercury and Mars both sit in your 9th house of learning and broader vision, and that gives your conversations reach. You find the balance point in almost any room, and Venus, your ruler, makes that grace real rather than performed. Later, at 9:54 at night, the moon steps into your 7th house of partnership, and that is the hour to let someone else speak first. Physically, keep your pace even through the afternoon and eat at proper hours. Jupiter is exalted in your 10th house of work and standing, so steady effort now is well placed. The day begins in routine and closes in company, and that is a gentle shape. If someone you know is unwell, sit with them a while and let them set the pace, expecting nothing at all. Let today be useful rather than perfect. Scorpio, today favors honest counsel. What you know is worth saying plainly, and someone is ready to hear it. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 5, the ground of creativity, children, and romance, so the mood likely felt personal and inward. In work and money, Jupiter sits exalted in your 9th house of wisdom and guidance and casts its full 5th aspect, which supports you teaching, advising, or simply explaining something clearly to a colleague. Mars, your ruler, moves through Gemini in your 8th house of shared resources and hidden matters, and that is a good window for reviewing a joint account or a pending arrangement with the patience you already have. Scorpio, you go deep where others skim, and your resilience is easy to underestimate. In relationships, that same depth lets you ask the second question instead of the polite one. For energy, the moon shifts into your 6th house of daily work and routine at 9:54 at night, so keep the late evening simple and let the day close gently. The counsel you carry today lands best when it is given, not held. If you can, share a meal with someone who is hungry, expecting nothing in return. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Sagittarius, today rewards the honest question more than the quick answer, and you have plenty of both. Yesterday drew you inward, toward home, family, and your own quiet ground, and you likely felt the pull to slow down. At work, Saturn sits in that same 4th house of home and inner ground and casts its full 10th aspect, which steadies your career effort into something patient rather than fast. Handle the slow paperwork now and let the ambitious ask wait for a calmer hour. Mars and Mercury both sit in your 7th, the house of partnership and one-to-one dealings, each casting a full aspect back across you, so conversations arrive with real force behind them. Sagittarius, your ruler Jupiter gives you optimism as a default setting, and the search itself matters to you more than arriving, so let the other person finish their sentence before you improve it. Mars in Gemini is your period lord today, which favors movement over brooding. Walk, stretch, keep your energy in your legs. The moon shifts into your 5th house of play and expression at 9:54 at night, and that inward quiet finally opens into something lighter. Before then, set out water or a little food for the birds or a street animal, asked of nobody, expected back from nobody. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Capricorn, today favors steady, unhurried progress, and your quiet stamina is the reason it works. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 3rd house of courage, siblings, and short journeys, and your mind likely carried the day easily, quick, and willing. That same moon still moves through your 3rd house now. So, errands, messages, and short trips suit you. Your period lord today is Mars in Gemini, in your 6th house of work and daily effort, and Mars from there casts its full 8th aspect, which supports focused problem solving rather than speed. Keep one task moving to completion. That steadiness pays off by evening. In partnership, Capricorn, exalted Jupiter sits in your 7th house of relationships and casts its full 7th aspect, and the sun there does the same. So a generous, honest conversation lands well today. For energy, Revati ends at 9:54 at night, and the moon moves into your 4th house of home and comfort at 9:54 at night. Let the last stretch of the day be genuinely restful. That is the promised evening payoff. Quietly arriving, you play the long game by nature, not by discipline, and today rewards exactly that. If someone speaks to you today, give them your full, unhurried attention, wanting nothing back. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient, and you can be too. Aquarius, today rewards a simple, steady approach to what you own and what you value. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 2nd house of money, possessions, and worth, alongside retrograde Saturn in Pisces, and that likely felt slow and inward, as if every decision wanted a second look. On the money side, Saturn is your own ruler, and you already think from an angle nobody else tried. So use that today. Review a subscription, a budget line, a rate you have not revisited. Around 9:54 at night, the moon moves into your 3rd house of effort, conversation, and short reaches, and by then you will find words come easier. Aquarius, in relationships, Mercury and Mars both sit in Gemini in your 5th house of joy and expression, which favors saying the warm thing plainly rather than cleverly. For energy, keep the afternoon light between 3:48 in the afternoon and 5:29 in the evening, and let the evening carry the talking. What began as a careful, weighing kind of day ends with your voice loosening, exactly as promised. Somewhere near you, someone is carrying more than they can hold. Take one bag, one errand, 1 hour of their load, and ask nothing back. Wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. Pisces, your instincts are unusually clear today, and you can trust the first quiet reading you get of a person or a situation. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 1, the house of self, vitality, and how you come across. So you likely felt more visible and more yourself than usual. The moon still rides that first house this morning, which means your presence does much of the work for you. Let your manner carry the message in meetings rather than over explaining. Jupiter, your ruler, sits exalted in your fifth house and casts its full ninth aspect. And compassion moving you first is a real strength here, not a softness. Venus in your seventh house of partnership casts its full seventh aspect, Pisces. So a close relationship responds well to plain warmth today. Say the appreciative thing out loud. Mars in Gemini leads the period from your fourth house of home and inner ground. So keep your energy close to base in the evening. And note, the moon moves into your second house of resources and speech at 9:54 at night. The clarity you felt this morning settles into something steady. Somewhere near you is a person who has been alone lately. Call them or sit with them, expecting nothing at all. Let today be simple. That is enough. Wherever this day finds you, may it move at a pace you can meet, with work that rewards your patience, people who make the ordinary hours lighter, and rest that actually restores you. Take what fits your life today and let the rest go quietly. The sky offers weather, and you are always the one who chooses how to walk in it. Carry a little kindness with you, hold your plans loosely, and give yourself credit for how far you have already come. Thank you for spending these few minutes here. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.